This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
This season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker starts now.
Nestled deep in the heart of NASCAR country lies the Charlotte Motor Speedway, usually a 1.5-mile D-shaped oval that hosts the World 600 in May on the greatest day of racing that also has Formula One in Monaco, then the Indy 500. Today, however, it hosts a different kind of greatest race, the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker All-Star Race. 20 drivers take the green flag at the Rovol configuration here in Charlotte, not chasing points or championships, but to chase victory and proclaim themselves as the All-Star Race winner, undoubtedly firing their first shot for the 2019 season. With no points on the line, we are sure to see drivers tonight test themselves in their virtual machines to the limit. Who will bring home the checkered flag and the glory, and who will be left scratching their heads awaiting next year? We will have all of those answers and more live on our Flag to Flag Global SimRacing Channel coverage here on the iRacing Esports Network. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Countdown to Green presented by Sim Experience. Sim Experience AccuForce Pro V2 Complete is the premier professional racing simulation steering system. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including SimVibe software, 3DOF, Stage Series Motion, and the new GS5 G4 seat, visit simexperience.com for all of that information. I'm Brian Yazek. Joining me in the booth this season is Jason Galvin. Spinning the knobs, twisting the dials, and making us sound twice as good as we look is director extraordinaire Amjad Yaman, who is using cameras provided to us by the one and only Dougie Beard. Jason, the Rovol is a very unique and challenging track. Why don't you tell the viewers at home about some of the challenges that these drivers will be up against tonight?
Well, Brian, I got to say, first off, how disappointed are we that we're having an all-star race and they put the two all-stars in the booth? What's happening?
Yeah, you know, you got to have all-stars everywhere.
That's true. That's true. Hey, look, I love the Rovol, and if you've never watched a race here, shame on you, because you missed a heck of a real-life NASCAR race lap. This track has 17 turns, and that's if you count all 4 of the oval turns and the 4 quote-unquote turns in the bus stop on the back straightaway. But it is so unique, Brian, because, you know, the bus stop is not your traditional bus stop like you see it, for instance, the Daytona Road Course or at Watkins Glen. It's kind of a straight line shot, and so as a result, these big open wheel cars with all this downforce are going to carry a ton of speed around the oval section, and then they jam into those last 2 corners on the front straightaway. We get a race to the finish. It's going to be insane, and that hasn't even touched on the infield section, which is full of twists and turns and wide runoff areas. This is, I believe, the most unique Rovol configuration in the country. Let's take a lap around it.
All right, we've got Juha Norlampi in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around the Charlotte Rovol. Heartburn turn hits you in the face right away, but it's a pretty rapid first corner with little in the way of runoff on the outside. Watch out for the bumpy transition too. Turn 2 has a big rise and is a little narrow, but it's still flat out. Hang left, and then you've got the combination of 3 and 4. The banking here can really help carry your speed if you hit it right, but also know that you can use the pavement right up to the grass, so swing it wide. From there, the quick turn 5 has you braking almost mid-corner to set up for 6. This bend is very blind and blends directly into 7, which is a bit like a street course with how the wall is right up at the edge of the circuit. Then you've got turn 8, where you finally hit the oval again. NASCAR 1 and 2 will be easily flat out. Hopefully you've got a good run, because you're going to need all the speed you can through here. Drafting will probably be a factor, but pray that you don't wind up side by side as you approach the backstretch chicane. There's only a small lift required to thread this needle. Avoid any semblance of touching the curbs through here, otherwise expect attrition to eat up a lot of drivers. Once again, your foot is flat to the floor through NASCAR 3 and 4. Eventually, you'll bleed off the banking and then slam the brakes for the final chicane. Passing is possible into here, but it's a lot quicker than you'd expect. Once again, avoid hitting the curbs, and hopefully you've now finished a lap around the Charlotte Rovol.
So there you can see just what it's going to take to get around the Rovol course here, nestled in NASCAR country, Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is a very fun track. Jason talked about it kind of in the first part of the show. Just the race that was here last fall was amazing. So we got a little different format for you tonight here on the broadcast. So what you're watching right now is qualifying in the transfer race. So here we go. We're going series. All right, well, we'll go that way. So series details here presented by Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. Their industry-leading gloves are super lightweight, durable, made of breathable poly spandex. That sounds exciting. Whether you're a kart sim racer, Minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit www.minus273.biz. And don't forget this part, kids. Use the promo code LRHS for 25% off. Yes, 25% off all of your orders on their website. So here we go. Season details tonight. Exhibition, non-points race. It's the best way to do it. We have the Lotus 79 here on iRacing, adjusted fixed setup, and we're going to be giving away some change here towards the end of the season. $1,420 plus all sorts of prizes, fun stuff that way. So, as we were saying, we were watching qualifying for the transfer race where the top 12 from tonight are going to move on to the All-Star race. So that will put us to a full field of 20 on that side. So there you see George Sandman of the HPP machine taking his laps right there, currently P1 on the board. Getting around there, you can see that technical spot coming right through here. There's really the hills through there, and then the car really wants to swing out wide, and you've really got to control it. It's kind of tricky, you know. These with the Lotus 79, with Jason and I both having driven the car last year, we both can attest that with the smaller wheels on the front of this car, it makes it very, very crucial to set the nose and point the way that you want to go. Wouldn't you say, Jason?
100%, yeah. And the biggest thing with this car and getting it around a track like this is throttle control. And I think you and I have both experienced that on more than one occasion in the past in this car. But it is so easy in this race car to want to just jam on the throttle. And this car is real twitchy. And that's going to be something to watch with this track because it's got big curbs, which were great for the stock cars when NASCAR ran here, but are not great for an open-wheel car. And already something I'm watching, Brian, as I look at and qualifying here, and I noticed in practice, there's a lot of drivers who have front wing damage in this car. And the front wing on this car is super temperamental and cannot be fixed on a pit stop. And you can bend it hitting a cone. You can bend it hitting a curb too hard. And something to really keep an eye on is the transition out of the infield onto the oval. It is a steep transition, and if you hit that too hard, you're going to bend your front wing. And it's not going to kill you, but it's going to slow you down on the oval part of the track, and that's a big portion of your lap around here.
Yeah, I mean, and for those who aren't familiar with the term Rovol, it's combining road course and oval because this place does use all four corners of the Charlotte Oval plus the infield section. That's what makes up the 17 corners. 13 of those are obviously in the infield as you're watching Joshua Gaiman come through there, getting right around. They named that? There was some sponsorship there at the Heartburn Turn. There we go, from Tums. And we saw basically everybody watched everybody pretty much wad themselves up there in turn one on that event. So now you're seeing the purple machine there, Pennsylvania driver, coming through. This is what I was talking about right here, this little undulation and that change, because then the car really wants to swing out. And here's what Jason was talking about, that transition.
A lot of speed carried through this part of the track too. and if we stay with Joshua Gaiman here, you'll see this is the bus stop we were talking about in the open, right? And it's not much of a bus stop, especially in this car. You know, the stock cars struggle to get through there, but in this car, Brian, you know, you were saying you got a chance to run some laps with the setup they're running here, and you can take it almost wide open, especially in qualifying trim.
Oh yeah, you could take it full out without even lifting. Now, with that, it does take a little bit of a delicate way to get through there, but you can do it. The other section that I'm looking for, we just watched Joshua go through there, that final corner. That's where all of the drama last season for the NASCAR Cup Series happened, was in that final chicane. I mean, you could really, especially with the way that you get that run out from NASCAR 3 and 4 and get that big pull down through 3 and 4, you can really set up a pass here coming into that corner. And we saw Jimmy Johnson attempt it last year, and he, while successfully completing a pass, took out the competitor that he was taking out in the process. There you see David Clymer coming through there as well. But here's what I was talking about. You can really get a good drift right through, or draft right through here. And this is going to be the part. You have to set this corner up, get through the rumble strips and out, and that's what's going to separate out the field right there.
Something else that's fun here, just watching qualifying, and as Amjad, our director's switching through all the drivers here. Here's Stefan Schlacker in the GSRC car. So many new drivers to the series this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch the Retro Series. A lot of turnover, Brian. You know, you and I both jumped out of the car into the booth, race winners in this series. You know, I think Alex Saunders, the champion, is questionable to be able to make the whole year. Adam Blocker is focusing just on the IndyCar Series this year. But they filled that void with a lot of really talented drivers. And here's Stefan is one of them. You know, Sage Karam, who turns out is a pretty good real-life race car driver, too.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Is running the series this year as well. And, you know, I know Big Joe Hassard's going to run the series, so you get him back from just the IndyCar side. I don't believe he's running the All-Star race tonight, but he'll run this series this year. And then you look at the list of names, you know, just in this transfer race, right? The only driver in this transfer race that I believe has won a Retro Series event is Andrew Kinsella. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy.
And he's P2 on the board, off-placed by George Sandman, who is a new face to the Retro Series. Jason's right. I mean, there was a big turnover in Retro Series in the off-season, but it seems like it's kind of like a tide. It pulled back, and there was that kind of openness for a moment, but then the water rushed right back in with all of this talent that jumped onto the series. Justin Kirby is another new name. Dean Mall, Joshua Gaiman, we talked about. Chad Dalton, David Clymer, as you mentioned, Stefan Schlacker. I thought they're Eric
JP
Block.
Winchidle's new. Mike Rigney only ran a couple races. Dalton, Block, Baldwin, Mole. I mean, almost, I think 60% of this field completely new to the series, which is remarkable.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think that really shows the strength of the series coming right out of the gate with a whole new roster, essentially, and being able to fill it out with a lot of talent. You know, and there's a lot of names that you're going to recognize throughout the year. I thought Lionel Kalisto, if you're a fan of Pac Majors, I thought I saw his name on the series. Might not be running tonight, but I thought I saw him as a full-time driver.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's funny. I was talking to a driver that we'll see in the All-Star race a little later, Dustin Wardlow, who was one of my teammates on the championship-winning team last year at Raven. And, you know, Dustin and I were talking about how I think he's got a really good chance as, you know, maybe the top returning full-time driver, depending on what Alex Saunders does, of winning the championship. And then he just started rattling off all the new guys, just the new guys that he was going to have to deal with. And that doesn't count some of the drivers coming back from last year, like Weaver and Goodman. And all of a sudden I got to thinking, and I was like, you know what? And, you know, Dustin said, I think that the Retro Series could rival IndyCar in roster this year. And if you think about it that way, man, is it going to be a cool season.
Hey, and you know what? You and I have the best vantage point of it right up here in the booth. We get to watch all of it and have all sorts of fun here. So, as we are going to get rolling here, we've got our starting grid presented by Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add instant immersion into any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses some accuracy and some force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate Butt Kicker products add that missing driver to car connection, bringing more realism and immersion into your sim and your life. See all of the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Use promo code LION25 to get 25% off of your order. On pole, new guy around here, George Enter Sandman. To his outside, Andrew Kinsella. James Motley Rahula there in the 3rd position, followed by Justin Kirby in the outside of row 2. Dean Mall in 5th with James Paulson 6th. Joshua Gaiman in the 7th position with Chad Dalton in 8th. David Clymer there in 9th with Paul Jenkins to the outside in 10th.
And in row number 6, Stefan Schlocker and Tyler Groff. JP Winscheidel, Frank Beeser, row 7. Row 8's Taft Baldwin and Eric Block. Ryan Corns, George Ansaldo in row 9. Row 10, Robert Bloom, and Sage Karam didn't take a qualifying time. And I got to check on that one, Brian. I think Sage might have actually qualified into the main. I'm trying to remember if he won a race at the end of last year, as Mike Rigney and Cody Eldred will bring up the field. Did Sage win one of the road courses at the end of last year? Because if he did, he would have qualified into the main.
I
got to check on that.
I really thought he did. Yeah, that's a great question. Well, luckily we got connections everywhere. Oh yeah, we're here. We're there. Sorry, Amjad. Didn't mean to scare him there. So yeah, I mean, field's rolling off here. You're staring off the back, staring down off the engine cover there.
Can confirm Sage Karam won a road course at the end of last year, was in here by mistake, so he goes straight to the main. So it's one less driver that everybody has to deal with in this race.
Hey, that'll make life easy for them.
Make it a lot harder for all the All-Stars, though.
I mean, hey, you know what? It's an All-Star race. It's not a, you know,
That's
you gotta
true.
earn your keep around here. Trying to rapidly adjust things as I'm going on here because I thought I had a layout for my screens that I wanted. Come to find out, that's not what I wanted to do. So, all righty here. Get back there. Yeah, there's the infield part is the GSRC chopper or drone now. Probably it's the drone. I mean, the chopper got expensive, and then they wouldn't let me fly it anymore. So that's, I mean, you see that there. This is probably one of my favorite cameras for the Viva Motorsport onboard camera, hanging right off that big, massive wing for James Grahula in this series. Let's jump over to the... nope. The other ones are in the other ones, so never mind. So
I'm going to quote you on that one, Brian. The other ones are in the other ones. I feel like we're going to use that line a lot this season.
We might. The other ones are in the other one. I like that. So,
what a long pace lap.
Yeah, it is. It's long, but you know what? This race is going to happen fast. 11 laps on the docket here. So once we get to the end of that, that's where we're going to figure out the 12 drivers that are moving into the All-Star race. I want to say pick a favorite, but it's going to be tricky. I mean, your top 5 are separated by a second, which is pretty impressive around here. But then you expand that out, and it's a second and a half, which, you know, qualifying doesn't always show all of the, you know, show everything. You know, because guys could have missed their lap a little bit. Maybe someone, you know, you drive better with someone in front of you. I mean, it kind of depends. But I'll tell you what, we're going to have a whole lot of action and a whole lot of fun going on here tonight. Field working their way down around turn 4. George Sandman in control. Pace car going to be diving off here, getting out of the way, giving it all over. 43, 45 miles an hour. This is where it's going to get fun in this restart zone because you have to restart here. Real NASCAR, they use the full apron out there. Green flag is in the air. The transfer race is underway. George Sandman getting a great hole shot out of that chicane, getting a very nice clean run. Kinsella following into turn 2. First battle side by side there for a minute was between Kirby and Krahula. Field very quickly settles into single file all the way through. Oh, contact out back. Oh my God. There's wrecks
still
everywhere.
wrecks. That was for the transfer spot. Tyler Graff got into the wall, Brian. Tyler Graff got wide into the wall. Ryan Corns, JP Windscheidel. I mean, the list of cars in that is long. Frank Beezer's got damage. It all started, I think, with Tyler Graff just ran wide, clipped the wall, and it was all over from there.
I looked in, I saw his car jumping around, and then the camera cut away, and I didn't get to see the rest of it. So that's going to shake that up. A couple drivers hanging out in the back. Yeah, Paul Jenkins got another part of it, too. I remember seeing a black and gold car.
You know what? It was Jenkins who got the wall, but he got the wall because of some contact with Graff, and then they bounced off each other.
So we're going to cut to the GSRC replay here. We're going to show you exactly what we saw. Here's the initial side-by-side right there, Graff and Jenkins, and then it's just back and forth. And through that spot in the track, there's really not a whole lot of spots to go. There's a whole lot of room to really move because the track really narrows in right there.
Taft Baldwin, Eric Blocker in it. George Anzaldo got a piece of it. Actually, George might have somehow managed to get through that without any damage, which is ultra impressive.
Best way to do that. So now we're going to come out of that, going over to the live show. So now let's see who the transfer spot belongs to, the one and only George Anzaldo. He's got a decent enough gap over Frank Beeser. Let's have to keep our eye on that. Yeah.
Frank had a little bit of damage, I thought, from that wreck, too. Or at least he thought he did, for sure.
I'm watching him as he comes through the chicane there.
He's got some front wing damage.
A little bent up. Not bad, though. Eric Block, I mean, he started 16th, got through all of that. He's hanging out in the good spot right now. Stefan Schlacker, he got through all that. He got a little bit of nose damage in it, but he's hanging out in a good spot because that's the thing. You don't have to win this all-star race or this transfer race. You just got to get through in the top 12.
A crazy start to this race.
Out front, you're not missing much.
You know, you said it, Brian. There's nothing on the line but bragging rights, right? So yeah. Everybody going for it here.
Lift the stamp.
And boy, I tell you what, if you go look at the field right now. George Sammons' car is pristine, right? We're on lap 3. Remember what I talked about with the front wing?
Yeah.
Second place, Andrew Kinsella. Third place, Justin Kirby. Fourth place, James Krahula. Fifth place, Dean Mall. Sixth place, James Paulson. Seventh place is Josh Gaiman. Eighth is David Clymer. We go all the way to ninth, and Chad Dalton is the next car with a clean front wing from the leader. Second through eighth have already managed to bend it on one of the curbs or transitions.
I mean, and you know what? If I'm a driver that's in the All-Star race, I'm watching this and I'm going, okay, what are these guys doing to bend up that front wing? Because the competition in the All-Star race is going to get that much more tougher in order to get through. So, I mean, and you look at Sandman and all these guys, and they're hanging out all right. But yeah, it is kind of funny that you mentioned that because we did that long shot coming up the backstretch, and you can really see, you know, one by one, a lot of front end damage there. We got a battle somewhere? Where we got one? Oh, yeah, we're going on the P5 there. Dean Mall has it. James Paulson, Joshua Gaiman, they want it. So this is what I was talking. Oh, good. They just caught the turtles there. You watched him. James Paulson, he come onto that chicane and the car wiggled. That's going to put him into the clutches of Joshua back there. This is what I was talking about in the intro. Do you try and set that move up right now, or do you just kind of let it roll? Yeah, he got through.
Not a lot of reasons to set a pass up here either, Brian.
Well, back to the transfer spot. George Anzaldo, he's off. Did he bend it? What happened to George?
In the bus stop.
Oh,
and,
no.
I mean, the same thing that Gaiman just had, except for George couldn't.
Yeah. You get off the other side of it, and it does the death wiggle right up to the right. A little peacock hanging out there in the
rest in peace, George. We will see you at Homestead, bud.
Yeah, that's right. Homestead is in a couple weeks here coming up. The official start to the season. yeah, you just got too much curb, jump through there, and once you catch onto those turtles, it is game over. Jump up to the battle for P2. Andrew Kinsella has it. Justin Kirby trying to flex a little bit of muscle there. He's got the draft, but then coming through here, you really have to be deliberate with how you set that move up.
So don't sleep on Justin Kirby. Here's a newcomer to this series who I expect, especially on the road courses, to be competitive right away. You know, Justin jumped on board with one of the Lionheart teams that we put together for the 24 at Daytona this year. And he actually started the race for us and did a great job. He had to avoid a couple of incidents early, had an off track, missing a car, and made another mistake. And, you know, an hour into that race, we were in like 15th. Hour 2 rolled around, he was up to 6th, right behind Jesse Vincent, who's a former Lionheart champion a couple times over. And they were driving through the field together. A couple of GTE cars 2 hours into the 24 decided it was a good time to side draft, and it ended very poorly for a lot of people. Justin and our car included. But I got to tell you, you know, Jesse went on to win that race. Justin was 15 seconds behind him 2 hours in and running same lap times. So this is a guy who can drive a race car. And I think that as the season goes on and he gets more comfortable in this car and around these other drivers, I mean, Justin Kirby's going to be a driver who right away makes an impact and starts to compete for some wins in this series.
I remember you guys were talking about him in the league chat there about you know, the hot shoe that you got for the road side of things, and so that was kind of the first time I heard about him. And then you start, you know, P4 here to kind of make your debut on the season. That's not a bad way to do it, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Andrew Kinsella, who is not a slouch on these road courses either.
Yeah, no, Andrew, very good. No matter what track you go to, there's a reason that he was a championship contender in the IndyCar series last year, finished 3rd in points there, but was in it for the championship right down to the last race of the season. And Retro the year before was a championship contender as well when he was focused on Retro. Didn't run the series with full attention last year as he took on some admin duties in the league and started to help with setups and whatnot. But Andrew Kinsella, as talented as they get in the Lionheart series on either series for that matter, IndyCar or Retro. So if you're Justin Kirby, you got to feel real good about this move right here.
Oh boy, getting in that, getting a good drift, and then getting a good run down to the bottom. And I think Kinsella is smart enough as a competitor. That's not a battle he wants to have just yet. Just let that one go. You're well inside the transfer spot. Life is good. Speaking of the transfer spot, that belongs to Frank Beeser all the way back there in the 12th spot. And right now he has absolutely no pressure. He's got a couple seconds out back. And so right now he's sitting in a good spot.
And much quicker than the car behind him right now, which is Mike Rigney. Rigney didn't qualify. You know, he's waiting. If one more guy makes a mistake, Rigney's going to kind of backdoor his way into the main here, which there's nothing wrong with doing that, by the way, you know. But Rigney right now running 2 or 3 seconds a lap slower than Beeser has been. Although if you look at their best lap times, they're pretty similar. So
yeah, you never know. Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those situations where, you know, but you get a good draft, stuff like that. But fastest car, you know, fastest cat here right now is George Sandman. I mean, I'm sure that people are taking it easy, and I think he's got a little bit. If you look at the front there, that front wing bent up just a little bit.
Everybody's doing it.
Krahula's is almost
oh
a fin.
Man, yeah.
Go back there and find Krahula.
We're gonna have
there.
to have a conversation with James and our team chat on the IndyCar side after this one's all said and done, because that's not going to fly this year, James.
Absolutely. That's a great shot there as you see him winding through the infield. Really kind of surprised with the selection. I mean, I know the All-Star race is always something a little fun and stuff like that. It seems to be a Rovol themes, but I really like this as this selection for the All-Star race here.
Yeah, we ran Homestead Rovol last year, and that was interesting. I don't think that it presented as many passing opportunities as this track does. And, you know, it helps too, right? iRacing scanned this track last year specifically to make sure the Rovol was included. They saw the popularity of it, the success of the Rovol right away, and said, you know what, we got to have that in the sim. So kudos to iRacing for being at the forefront of that and realizing what the customer base and what the drivers wanted, because that's really what it's all about. If you're a business, you want to keep the people that you know are supporting you happy and keep up with the things that are popular right now. And the Rovol was maybe the most popular event in NASCAR last year, aside from the Daytona 500 and the finale at Homestead. So they were all over it. We have this great track to race on now. It races beautifully for many different series, and I think a lot of that is because iRacing has continued to learn more and more about how to build tracks, right? The technology has gotten better, and so this is our first true, kind of new road course, quote unquote, in the last year or so, and it is really a lot of fun.
A replay here for Joshua Gaiman catching the turtles, and oh no! Get it pointed back the right direction. And he's still rolling on track. We're gonna go right here, so just so you can see what happened here. It's probably the same thing that happened to George. You just come in here, you catch those turtles, and then it's just a death wiggle out from there. Nothing much you can do. Just hang on, flip it around, grab first gear, and punch the loud pedal back down.
How about the move by Chad Dalton to miss it? Well, actually, can we get a look at Dalton's car here? Because I'm wondering, on my screen it shows that Dalton has a bunch of damage from that incident, and he sure does. So I thought Chad Dalton missed him there, but
he's missing half a wing.
Yeah, the computer
that's one way to start.
He's still rolling around in 7th.
Hey, that's where you need to be. Yeah, Sandman coming out to Charlotte 1. Clean, nice, about a 5.5, 6 second lead over second place. Going to easily get into the All-Star race. And I can't wait to see him to see the battle that you're going to see coming up here in the All-Star race. It's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. Coming off of turn 4, Sandman making his mark on the season already. That's one way to announce that you're here. George Sandman wins the transfer race here at Charlotte Rovol. Second, going to be Justin Kirby with Kinsella there in third. It looks like James Grahula is going to sneak fourth. We're going to jump back to P9.
Nice move.
Oh, that was nice. That was a slick move right there across the line. And now we go back to P12, and Frank's just, you know what? You're good, Frank. Just bring it home, buddy. Bringing it in. No sense trying to jump the curbs there. Just bring it in.
Poor Mike Rigney and JP Winshidle did their best. Ryan Corns, too, going to finish here. 15 cars got to the checkered flag.
Hey, it's
a shame that we had that wreck there on
it would have been
the first corner, because it took away what could have been a lot of fun for a battle for the transfer spot. But
all right,
that's racing.
So yeah, that is full field rundown here for the transfer race. We talked about it. George Sandman P1, Justin Kirby in second, Andrew Kinsella third, James Grahula fourth, Dean Mall in fifth, James Paulson sixth with Chad Dalton in seventh, and David Clymer there in eighth. Stefan Schlacker in the 9th spot with Eric Block rounding out your top 10.
In the 11th position is Joshua Gaiman. Despite that spin, hangs on, and Frank Beeser picks up the 12th and final transfer. Mike Rigney, JP Winshidle, Ryan Corns, Robert Bluen, Cody Eldred, George Anzaldo, Taft Baldwin, Paul Jenkins, Tyler Graff. We all say thank you very much, and we'll see you at Homestead. So Sage Karam we'll see in the next race, by the way.
That is true. Yeah, he's just getting a little bit of extra practice. So with that being said, kids, we're going to take a quick commercial break, come back, and we're going to be right in the All-Star race practice session. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Welcome back to the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker All-Star Race at the Charlotte Rovol. And drivers are out qualifying. Not quite yet. I thought they were going to get that over. So while we're waiting, we've got Tyler Graff here in the interview booth. And Tyler, it's probably a good thing you didn't have those butt kickers at the end of that last race or at the beginning of the last race, because you'd probably still be hurting after that one.
I think the haptic immersion probably would have ended my life.
What happened coming through, the second and third turns?
So I thought the car ahead of me, I thought Paul got into the wall and was going to shoot back out into the track, so I cut to the left and cold tires, and on the gas I lit the tires up, and then I had the worst angle going into that corner, and I didn't want to lift because I knew the guy behind me was coming, and I was it was just a bad situation. I just feel bad I took out Paul. He was fast, and I don't know who else was caught up in it, but it was just a bad situation.
So now that so what was it like kind of driving the car as you got through practice and you got kind of warmed up? I mean, the big thing was kind of with the way that the car drives, you really had to let it point. So how was that feeling as you're getting through the infield?
It's extremely unforgiving. Basically, once you start once you point the car, you have to go. If you try to correct it, it's just gonna basically understeer and you're going off, or into a curb or into a wall. But as the fuel goes down a little bit, it gets a little bit better. But yeah, it's a very unforgiving track and car. So it was it's definitely a handful.
Sounds good. I mean, now that you got out and you kind of been watching things, what you thinking here for who's your pick for the All-Star race?
Oh, I think I'd be dumb to not go with Karam. He's bad fast. I think if you're gonna go for a dark horse pick, though, Justin Kirby, he looks really quick. So, and he's consistent. I don't think I've seen him make a mistake all night. So.
All right. Well, that was the voice of Tyler Graff. Here we let him kind of hang out after the unfortunate events there. Tyler's going to hang out though and watch the race with us. And in 37 laps here, or 34 laps, we're going to crown an All-Star Race champion. So Tyler, thanks for coming and hanging out with us, and we'll see you down the road at Homestead probably.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good broadcast, guys.
Thank you. All righty, so now that we've got drivers on track, there is Sage Karam. Yes, that is the Sage Karam that was in the Indianapolis 500. The IndyCar driver in real life has made a big splash in the sim racing world. You see his Coanda Sim Sport. That should be a name that should be familiar to anybody that is a fan follower of sim racing out there. You put good people together, and these are the things that you run into. See him coming through here, the bus stop. Gonna make that sound really good. Getting that. That's a nice way to handle that right there. I mean, car looked pretty stable, pretty happy. No big issues there. Getting through it, and life is happy. Let's see, would that be, is he on lap 1? Yeah, it should be on lap 1. Or is that just the out lap? Yeah, that was just the out lap. No one's on the board yet. Kinsella just crossing the line now. I think everybody's out on the out lap. Nope. George Sandman rips off a Sandman with a 106.64. That was faster. I think that's faster than pole time in the transfer race. So George Sandman once again making a very loud statement that he is here to be reckoned with. And Otis says, all right, I'll do you one better. Runs a 106.54. That's a name that's familiar to any longtime Lionheart fan. Out there, Ryan Otis in that number 95 machine. We got, who else is up there? Justin Weaver within 0.2 of the pole, too, in the Moby Dickey's machine. That's a very popular machine, very popular driver with a very, very magnificent beard, if you've ever met him in public. Taking a very unique line there. That's, That's a very interesting line there. I wonder if it'll pay off. I wonder if he's going to gain anything over that. All right, so top time once again. Still Ryan Otis at a 106.54. 540. Sage Karam, 106.544. Let's see what Weaver's got. Trying to get that better lap. Put Weaver up to P1. Maybe that... Oh, it's a tie! 2 point. Wow, that's over the course of a road course to end up in the dead tie. That's impressive. Who else we got running out there? I think coming around that corner. That would be Stefan Schlacker. See. Yeah, Stefan's going to get his run in here. He's coming through the chicane at the end of the straightaway, coming across the line. Oh, maybe that was an out lap. All right, let's go see what Sandman can do. Oh, and Sage Karam jumped back up to the top of the board. Here comes Sandman across the line. Not going to do it. Otis stepping it up. Woo-hoo-hoo! 106.23. Ryan Otis sending a shot out there, ladies and gentlemen. He is back, and I believe he is back full-time this season. That is going to be a great addition for the season. A couple other guys running around, taking their time. I think Stefan, once again, will be there. The 92 of Chris Limini. He is out there. See, I think he did his out lap, so let's see what kind of time he could put up. Or no, we're looking at Sage, sorry. We're looking back at Sage. Does he have anything to one-up that time? Nope. Alrighty, so Ryan, yeah, I think that could have been an out lap on that one. What else we got floating around? The number 5, James Grahula. He's, oh, no, James. No, bad James. Whoa. This is just good old-fashioned fun right here. David Clymer didn't pick up anything. Joshua Gaiman, he did not pick up anything. No one else really out setting any big times. I'm going to look around. Stefan, did you see? Oh, we're back at Sage again. I thought he would have run his 2 laps by now. Oh, it's... No, 4 laps in qualifying. Okay. Shows what I know. I run the series too, and I run in the series, and I kind of forgot about the 4 laps. So right now, the only vehicles on track are Stefan Schlacker and Chris Limini. Everybody else is just hanging out. There you see Chris working his way through the infield section. I really feel like this is one of the trickiest sections right here. You got to watch the cones, then you got to try and get it out and then get it pointed back straight to get that run into Charlotte turn 1. It's just a tricky vehicle to get to maneuver around here. Got about 2. We got left in here about 2-something minutes left. 2 minutes 34 seconds left in the session. And like I said, Schlacker and Lanini, the only cars on track right here. I just love watching these cars attack that final chicane. It's just a whole lot of fun to watch them go. No pickup there for Schlacker. Let's see if Lanini bested his time. Looks like he picked up a little bit, but not enough. So there is, that's what we've got going on from that side of things. So let's, well, we've got a little bit of a lull here. 24 laps is what we're kind of expecting on fuel for tonight, as Schlacker is, all right, he's just having fun with it. Okay, you know what? Get it, man. So, yeah, 24 laps on the fuel. Weather-wise, the time of day for us here is 2:30 in the afternoon. Oh, here we go. Yep, max fuel stint. Now, the Plasma Tracks race analysis. So there you see on screen right there. Plasma Tracks returning again. If you are struggling to find something for the person that has everything, this is a great website, plasma-tracks.com. They produce original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, motorsports fabrications. It's words just don't do justice to what they do. And the best way to do it is just check out their website, plasma-tracks.com. Use promo code LRS2019 to get 25% off of your order. So there it was. If you want to pop that back up for me again, if you would, Amjad. Okay. So the incidents tonight, not going to be a whole big thing, but this is really going to come and play next week or next race down in Homestead. You get 12 incidents, you lose 3 points. 17 incidents, you lose -5 points. 25 incidents and a DQ, that's not where you want to be. So, yeah, let's jump over. Do we have a weather graphic or no? Or is it just me talking? Let's bring it up. Heck yeah, we'll bring out all the good stuff here. There you see, partly cloudy, 75 air, 93 track, a northeast wind at 7 miles an hour, which is pretty much blowing in from turn 2. Yeah, basically from across turn 2. 91% humidity, no fog out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here. Once again, we're going to go through the qualifying results presented by Butt Kicker. We've mentioned it before. Their products add the instant immersion to any game. Unlike the subwoofers that don't do it justice just right, their haptic feedback really connects the drivers to the seat of the feel or seat of the pants feel, giving you that immersion. Remember, thebuttkicker.com. Use promo code LION25 to get 25% off of your order. Jason Galvin, welcome back. Read us off the top 10.
Hey, good to be back, Brian. Ryan Otis on the pole, and look at that time, blistering 106.21. Sage Karam will start second. Justin Weaver right behind there in third. George Sandman picked up a half a second from his times in the qualifying race. Will start fourth. Richie Hearn and Dustin Wardlow in row 3. James Grahula, Andrew Kinsella, a pair of transfer drivers in row 4, and some more transfer drivers, Justin Kirby and Dean Mall in row 5.
Chad Dalton in P11 with James Paulson out there, the transfer driver in P12. P13 to Stefan Schlocker. We saw him doing donuts there at the end of his qualifying run. Joshua Gaiman in 14th. 15th to David Clymer. 16th, Frank Beazer. Eric Block in 17th. Chris Lanini 18th. And Sean Cole, you see there at 19th, will not be participating tonight. Apparently his internet has decided to pick tonight of all nights to be like the original Honda motors from Formula One a couple of years ago and just kaput.
Why'd you have to go there?
I
All
did.
the things.
You know, I was
At
looking.
least you didn't say it was like a McLaren motor or anything like that. You know?
That's true. I mean, I could have picked the Lotus IndyCar too, like but that I don't know.
Ooh.
That's just.
Yeah, Ruben Barrichello kindly asked that you don't bring that up anymore.
Well, if me and Rubens Barrichello ever come across paths, then I'll have that conversation. Doubt it. He did whoop me pretty good in it was a Renault series practice there once. There you see the Sam Maxwell Customs onboard camera. That too. The Sam Maxwell Customs camera there hanging off the back wing of Dustin Wardlow in the new number 9 for Dustin. All right, I can run with that. And Dustin and Jason, you can attest to this. The more that you watch, the more that you study Dustin's schemes, the more and more you find. There's the Viva Motorsport onboard camera with James Grahula, Viva Motorsport. They really range in motorsport-inspired items, etched glass, track decals, all that, a little bit more. Visit the website, vivamotorsport.etsy.com. And hey, remember when you use use Lionheart for 10% off your order. See, we got it covered everywhere in the sponsorship
everywhere
this year. It's not even the good one. That's not even all of them. That's obviously the good ones. That's not all of them. I got a list that George has been hounding me on to get this right. I mean, I don't quite have the masterness of this that the soup does, but you know.
Hey, guess who wrote all those press releases?
That was you, sir.
Hey, give him a prize.
All right, turn 4, 34 laps separating the drivers out. I mean, whenever the top 3 at a road course are separated by 0.2, that's pretty good. Really going to keep an eye on Ryan Otis here as you see the 19 vehicles coming around the corner. 18 vehicles, sorry. Coming around here. Great pace car is off. Field is under the control of Ryan Otis, working its way through the final little chicane there. Green flag is out. The All-Star race is underway. Getting a great jump, but look at the crossover. Immediately, Sage Karam going to try and take that battle into turn 1, side by side. Oh, and Otis oversteps the corner just a little bit. Karam out to the lead in one corner. Ryan Otis goes from pole to 5th spot. Now, can he recover in that number 95 machine?
Wow, what a start that was. You don't see Ryan Otis make many mistakes in this race car, especially on a road course especially, but Sage Karam, ultra aggressive, and he put the pressure on Otis, known as a little more of a conservative driver, and it showed there. And now if you're Sage Karam, Boyd, you got to start clicking off the laps and opening up the gap if you can, because you know Otis at some point is going to try to come picking his way back through there and get back to you. But boy, Karam's done a great job opening up that lead already, Brian.
Yeah, he got a great jump through the infield section there. You see coming around the corner. Oh, who was that? Was that Dustin Wardlow hitting up into the wall there? Thought I recognized that paint scheme. Now, unfortunately, Dustin Wardlow. I think it's going to be the same scenario. He's going to catch the turtles, and the car's just going to get all cattywampus. And that's just going to do that.
Boy, and for Dustin, that started at the start of the chicane. It almost looked like he missed the entrance. And he had to pedal the car, and it just got too wide, and over the turtles he went. And we lost another car during that incident as
Chad Dalton? Here we go on board for the replay here of what we saw at the start. Sage lets him go in that first part and then does the crossover immediately as Otis catches just a little bit too much. And then the side-by-side into turn one. I'm not sure if it caught Otis off guard, but he just sent it in there, and then that's going to move Sage Karam way out into the lead.
It was Dalton, as you mentioned, there was the second driver that was involved going through the bus stop on the opening lap, had himself a bit of a...
Oh, Kirby makes a mistake, and he's going to give up the spot that he just got. It's that final chicane. I saw and looked up going into the corner. He was side by side with Otis.
Yeah, he's going to give up a lot more than that spot. That's gonna be the end of Justin
in there. Oh, he caught the turtles on the other side, and it just sent the car way out there. These cars love to hang very, very close to the ground, so we were talking about it in the transfer race. You don't have a lot of room for clearance, so if you catch especially the aggressiveness that these turtles, as they're called, set up here, as we're on board with James watching this, and you see right there, bounces off the fence, and James says, hey, thank you. Now that Ryan Otis has kind of recovered a little bit, I'd be curious to see if he can make some inroads up the field towards Sage Karam.
George Sandman, the winner of the transfer race. That's Richie Hearn right behind him. Of course, the analyst, GSRC's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment. Brian, where are we going for the All-Star race in IndyCar? Rockingham, right?
Rockingham.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
You thought the Rovol was fun. Wait till you drop 20 Indy cars in the Rock.
That's going to be interesting. I had the GSRC DW or IR18 IndyCar out there getting the lap guide taken care of just the other day, and that's going to put on a show, kids. That's going to be what you want to see. That's going to be live on the iRacing Esports Network next Wednesday night, usual race time. There you see, here we go, jumping through the final corner there. James Grahula, I'm not recognizing without the right paint scheme. It's throwing me for a loop. And there you got in the number 5 machine, and with Andrew Kinsella just back off of him. Otis, from a lap time standpoint, not making any inroads on Sage. Sage is ripping off some laps. 106.52. Weaver ran a 106.80. Sandman, who was so dominant in the transfer race, 107 flat. So he's about half a second off.
That's about what Sandman was running in the transfer race, too. So, you know, his quick lap in that race was a 1:07.0. I think that's about what George Sandman has. The way this is going right now, it doesn't look like anybody is even in the same league as Sage Karam is right now. And Otis, you know, Ryan has not found his groove at all. And I don't know if it's being in traffic or still shook up from the start of the race or what the deal is. But his best lap at a 1:07.5 is... and that's almost a full second off of what he qualified at.
Let's take a look at the left side of the nose there.
Well, everybody's got that going on.
All right. I mean, he's a little bent up from that side. Sandman's got it. I'm looking forward now just to go through.
First off, Sandman's front wing is very damaged all of a sudden, and that just happened. The right front wing caught something somewhere. Oh, you know what he did? Sandman caught the turtles going into the final corner on the front straight hard. Yeah. And it totally bent the right front.
Yeah, that's bent up just a little bit more than what would be an appropriate level. Otis is making some inroads, but it's just the guy in front. So here we go. This is going to be where we're going to keep our attention. Oh, there we go. Keep our attention at as Richie had a blink on my screen. I don't know if it transferred over.
Richie's
see, here we go. He's going to swing it out real wide, because if you can swing it out wide here, coming into that first part of the chicane, you get the right road. But then Richie Hearn fighting back on the inside in the switchback. Side by side across the line, going to go off into turn one. Is Ryan going to try a crossover here? Giving up the corner on entry just a little bit. No, I think he's decided to... Oh, Justin Weaver has spun in the infield.
Boy, and Ryan Otis had a big bobble there, too. James Krahul is all over him. All sorts of...
And that's a blind corner, too. You come around that, and there was Justin Weaver, unfortunately, sitting right there. Just goosed it. Just a little bit too much coming around that corner.
Boy, Weaver sat there for a long time.
Probably checking checking the relative, making sure he doesn't come up out in front.
From 2nd to 13th.
Unfortunate night. Very promising start for Justin Weaver. I expect a lot of him out of this series. Back up front, though, Ryan Otis is making inroads on Richie Hearn once again. Just hearing these cars go through the infield section is just marvelous.
Oh, I love this car.
It's raw power. It's just glorious.
This is as open wheel racing was intended to be. But Richie Hearn really, in his connection, has
bounced in and out. It's like it's fine, and then it stops, or it does one big blink.
It's interesting because he doesn't have a lot of ping issues in the race itself.
Yeah, no.
And his quality is fine, but he is all over the place. And I was just at pause there because race control was talking, and they did just issue a warning to Richie about his connection. So something to keep an eye on.
Race control kicking up or stepping up their controls, or stepping up. Oh, no, Richie Hearn going through the infield. That's not one way to do that. Did he just he just gave up on it? Oh, he probably knows something's going on his side beyond the warning. So he just decided, you know what? Save the car, bring it back in a couple weeks, and sign on it there.
Tough break for Richie. Was up there in 3rd on the podium.
Battle for the 6th position. There we go. Paulson has it. Dean Mall wants it. And Stefan Schlacker back there. He wants a part of that too. That's going to be a pretty good battle. It's going to start shaping up here. Through the infield section, Paulson really takes a good aggressive line. Mull also just jumping all over the curbs, trying to get that run out and get that get some momentum to get up there. Working their way back through the infield section, as you see, crossing through this whole. If you're looking for a bank, there's a bank there that would probably love to have you. They put up all sorts of billboards there on the inside of that. In fact, did Weaver have another off? Oh, yep. And he's parked it. I think the damage from, he must have got a little bit of damage from the first incident, because here he comes back through this. Yeah, and the car just.
Oh, he's got a lot of damage from that one.
Yeah, that one was a bit more of a solid shot.
I wonder if maybe Justin spent a little too much time at Moby Dickies before this race.
I mean, just a little Dickie will do you, but that's the tagline for the company. I just, you know.
Who's got a better beard, you or Weaver?
Weaver still. I'm working on it. Wife and I bought the house, and I haven't trimmed it up since, so I'm gonna get to his level. She wanted it.
She wanted it. I like it.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how you know you married a winner, yes.
You know, I try. There's not too many other ones that put up with my put up with me sitting here looking at pretend race cars and talking about it.
I've lived that dream. I've lived that dream. Do you think race control could drop a line to Sage to back it down a little?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I think he's running away. That's really what it's going to break down to. He's just running away, and that's going to get him.
His last 3 laps have been the 3 fastest laps of the race, and he went 106.41 in race fuel last time around.
I mean, that's impressive. Now remember, last year when you drove these cars, they did get faster the lighter the fuel that came out of them. So here we go. Nice 4-way battle for the 7th or for the 6th spot back there. It was, yeah. Dean Mull now back out in front of James Paulson. But now Paulson is kind of the one holding up the train there. Nice pass going through the infield section there, or through the final chicane. That's the way to do it.
And that really, that really benefited was Gaiman, because it held up Schlocker. Josh Gaiman closed in the 9th spot. He's right there now, ready to pounce.
Good spot. I'm just keeping my eyes on this battle. Paulson has a lot more front wing damage as well. Like, that is really bent up. And there comes Schlocker to the outside. Sending it in there. He's going to take the spot very aggressively. I think that front wing damage, like you said, it was really hurting him on the oval side of things.
Gaiman's got quite a bit of damage as well on the left side of his front wing.
I was just noticing that.
Doesn't seem to be hurting him right now.
Oh, yeah.
Although Paulson's is very beat up. Gaiman's got a big run here.
You see coming up back through the infield section. Gaiman going to try and get in the draft. That's going to be the key here. If you can get into that draft and really lock up to the rear wing, I mean, you can really set this pass up nicely coming out on the other side of the bus stop. But you got to get it right. Let's see.
Tell you what else Gaiman has. Just looking at him here too, he has is the left side of his car. The side pod is very scraped up. Well. It's pretty impressive how quick he is with as much damage.
Out to the outside. He's getting it right through the infield section. A very strong move up over the Turtles. Give him the 7th spot. Very good move there from Joshua Gaiman. Now Paulson has went from, he's lost all those spots, and now he's just watching everybody drive away. Now, pit window is going to be open here because, like I said at the start of the show, 24 laps approximately to a tank of fuel. We got 21 laps to go this time. So anywhere inside this window you can pit. Jason, I mean, from running the road course races last year, when were you finding that strategy? Were you trying to run it all the way out, or were you trying to kind of find a happy medium?
Yeah, for me, it depended on where I was on the track compared to other cars that I was racing, and what my pace was like to those cars as well, because I felt like if I could run down a couple of the cars in front of me before I pit, then I would want to pit later, you know, and have that lighter fuel. But if I felt like I wasn't going to run them down necessarily before I would run out of fuel, then I would pit early and just get it over with, and hopefully come out with some clean space and just start clicking laps off. So it always just kind of depended for me. You know, I remember at Long Beach 2 seasons ago in the inaugural retro season, I think that I was the last car on pit road, and that was the difference. I was able to hold off Ryan Otis and Jake Wright. It was a great race, but I ended up in the lead because I ran the car dry, and I clicked off just some wicked laps, being able to run by myself after they pit early. And sometimes that's all the difference, is being able to get into open space on a road course like this and just run qualifying laps, you know? And like you said, the car gets quicker as the fuel goes away, and the nice thing about this car is there's no tire fall off at all. You know, in fact, we saw last year, how many times did we see last year where somebody took tires and it cost them a race? Which you never hear, but it cost several drivers a race last year. So this car is very unique in that standpoint and really opens up the pit strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I was always the one that I didn't learn until about 3/4 way through the season that you didn't really need to take tires. No one really brought that one up to my attention, but yeah, I had more issues last season than that one.
Alex Saunders, I think, still, you know, you hate when you lose a championship to look back to one moment in a season. How many times after Auto Club at the end of the year, when Alex Saunders lost the championship in a tiebreaker, did he look back at the race in Loudon that Dustin Wardlow won, where he was in control and checked out and took tires, and Dustin ran him down with 20 laps to go from like half a lap back, ran him down because of the tires just slowed him down so much, and he fell from first to third. You know, it's just how this car works. It does not like new tires.
No, it really does not. But you know, something that this car does like, being out in the clear open, and that's what Sage Karam does. So he's at right now. So we're going to do a top 10 rundown here, presented by Clipping That Apex, capturing those epic moments of speed and skill. Clipping That Apex provides the finest in quality hand-drawn motorsports art. Hop in the driver's seat, get yourself a good custom art piece made just for you, or if you know a special person in your life, that is a very good gift to get them. They do prints, t-shirts, swag, all sorts of stuff. Check them out, clippingthatapex.com. Use promo code Lionheart19 for 15% off of your order. Clipping That Apex, your home for custom motorsports art. Scott is a wonderful person, very good friend of mine, and really happy to see he and Lionheart partner up, and they do good work. So here we go. Sage Karam started second, wasn't there for very long, into the lead, and once he got it, he has not looked back. In the second spot, looking forward, George Sandman in that 06 HPP machine. He's just hanging out 12 seconds back. Sage is putting the spanking on the field today. So here we go. In third, Ryan Otis, the pole setter. After getting himself squared back around, he's been running some pretty consistent laps. A little bit faster than George in front of him. So it could be interesting to see if he gets back up there and gets him side by side. But speaking of side by side, here comes a battle for fourth. Andrew Kinsella, James Grahula coming through that little spot. That was side by side. We went back and looked. Give the spot a fourth to Kinsella right now. And James Grahula, not going to be running the full season with us this year, but was authorized or was locked in, there we go, to the All-Star race tonight. Words are hard tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But he's right out in the fifth spot. Dean Mull in the sixth spot. There we go. There's Dean in that. I'm going to call that the Mardi Gras car. Just the way that's painted up. He's Mardi Gras now.
Hey, there's nothing like being halfway through the All-Star race and earning your nickname already, right?
That's true.
Mardi Gras Mall. Hey, it's got a nice
Mardi
ring to
Gras
it, too,
Mall.
yeah.
Oh, that's it. Hope he likes it, or else I'm going to get chewed to death on.
I don't think he has a choice, right?
Stefan Schlocker there in the 7th spot in the GSRC machine. That's personally our favorite looking car, of course, up here in the booth. In the 8th spot, James Paulson. Get back there. I'm moving a little fast. That car kind of reminds me of like an AJ Foyt paint scheme, doesn't it? Just a very
White and
simple red, white, blue. Just simple. Joshua Gaiman in the 9th spot, and then rounding out your top 10, Eric Block.
Whose car reminds me of nobody's paint scheme.
I'll give it time. I'm sure there's some petrol head out there that probably reminds him, oh, that's the Terrell from 1979. One of those people that just knows that stuff.
1953, George Smith ran a scheme like that in a Formula 4000 car.
All right. I want to jump back up to that battle for 4th. That was pretty interesting. Kinsella and Krahula, a battle of the Ks. Krahula's got considerably more front wing damage, but that doesn't seem to be stopping him. He's hanging pretty close to the rear bumper, or the rear wing of Kinsella. I mean, this car does punch a pretty good hole in the air. I mean, from last season, where would you say that the draft effect kicks in as we're on board on the Viva Motorsport onboard camera?
Yeah, I think the draft effect kicks in the second you hit the high banks, and pull through the gear. And the big thing with this car that you don't have to think about in the IndyCar because you just pound gears is that this car has a old school traditional 5-speed with a clutch transmission, right? So if you hit your gears right, the draft starts right away in this car. And this, first off, this is a ground effects car. It makes silly amounts of drag and downforce. It's insane to think of the downforce numbers. We got cars on pit road here.
It's Krahula, who's known for jumping out, doing his own strategy thing. Here he is on pit road. I would probably say just enough fuel to top it off, and I would be surprised if that car goes up into the air.
James is that guy who I love James, right? James is that guy in IndyCar. He's going to drive you and I nuts this year because he drove me nuts all year last year. I'm pity. James, why are you pitting? Nobody on planet Earth is going to pit right now. Because I want to pit right now. Okay, James, that's a terrible idea. Okay, race comes to an end. There's James in 2nd place. Yeah, I guess we should have pit.
Yeah, we were in another race before this, and we talked each other out of a strategy call. That was actually the right thing to do in looking down the road, but that was weird having that conversation about strategy. So that was a 5-second pit stop. So yeah. Oh no! See, this is why we say nice things about him. I think
you jinxed him.
Yeah, that was the commentator's curse. Here you go, coming through this section of the track, and I think he's going to pull it up and park it. Yeah, it just looks like that when he turned in, the car just jumped around on him. Probably not used to that lighter fuel load. Or the heavy fuel with worn tires? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. He got a big piece of the wall, so that's going to pretty much end his day. That's why he pulled it in. I think he knew it right.
61.
More pit stops.
Yep, 61 of Gaiman on pit road, 66 of Eric Block. Sage Karam has put a lap down on the 89. Yep, 89 of Chad Dalton. And while doing that, setting the fastest lap of the race, as you see on the top of the ticker there, purple lap, 106, almost 106 flat. Sandman on pit road.
Both Block and Gaiman took tires, by the way.
Okay.
The new guys all got to learn, right?
I was there.
Let's see what Sandman does.
Kinsella hitting pit road. Because sometimes the fresh tires, depending on where you're at, really actually it could have helped out.
Saw Chris Limini come back onto the track there. Sandman did
Sandman's
not
gone.
take time.
Nope, 5.5 seconds. Let's see what Kinsella does here.
Andrew will
Fuel
not.
only.
Boy, that was a lot of fuel for Kinsella.
That was, yeah. Everybody's been doing about 5.5 seconds. He was 6.5. So unless he knows something that I don't, which is entirely possible. No movement out front between Otis and Karam, and I wonder if that's going to be just kind of a battle. I mean, Sage has a 20-second lead. Let's be smart about this. He's not at any risk. So there you see Otis turning into turn 1, and he just passed by. You saw that car flash by on the other side. Yeah, that was Sage Karam. He's coming out of the infield as Otis was turning into it. So just as an example of what kind of lead we're dealing with here.
And the thing I'm keeping an eye on here, is I want to see Otis to Sandman and what that gap is, right? Because Sandman has now pit.
Yep, it's about 16.
I mean, he's going to come out plenty ahead of Otis here.
Yeah. Well, the gap was only about 2 seconds before that. So what I'd be curious of is if Otis runs this out real long and tries to add as little fuel as possible. We're crossing 10 laps to go here in the All-Star race.
Yes, and part of the problem is that if the 24 laps is a tank, I mean we're coming up on it, right? 25. Yeah. And here comes Otis right now.
Otis on pit road. So this is going to be probably the battle for second. For point of reference, Sandman is coming into turn 3 right now, as Otis is getting down there. 40 miles an hour is just painful.
Yeah, Sandman's already on the front straight.
Oh, yeah.
This is over.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He might have missed it. Otis had a bad lap or something somewhere, but
had to.
I mean, the gap was really big.
Yeah, now Otis is going to come out of pit road. He's going to have Stefan Schlager right on the rear wing. So I wonder, something had to have gone wrong there. Stefan also has yet to pit, too.
Same with Dean Mall, now up to third.
Leader on pit road, Sage Karam. I mean, he could fill the tank up. He could get out, stretch his legs a little bit. I mean, that's the kind of lead that Sage Karam has. He could, get out, clean his own windshield, clean off the mirror. But it's probably going to be fuel only for about 5 seconds for the driver of that number 3 machine on it, and he is gone. See here, he's got to get it up to speed just right. Coming out, is he going to be dealing with the lap car? Nope, got ahead of him. Yeah, that's about as smooth sailing as you get there.
Quickest pit delta of any car so far, Sage Karam.
By
half a second.
Yeah, quickest here already, so. That's the way to do that. Well, we were going to say Paulson on pit road. Raven Motorsports silver entry. We'll get more into the team championships and stuff like that as the season progresses. The Retro Series this year, there's actually, outside of the main championship, obviously, there's a team championship. We've also got a oval championship and a road championship, so kind of sub championships, if you will. Fun stuff to pay attention to as the season progresses along, so we'll keep an eye on that. Like I said, we'll get more in depth in that next week or next race at Homestead. That's a pretty good camera angle right there of Otis. You're watching that suspension travel. Dean Mall, Mardi Gras Mall on pit road. Who's that right behind him?
He's got a drafting partner. Stefan's saving fuel as they come to.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get that fuel just right. That's a beautiful helmet, too.
This is a battle for position, by the way, between these two. And I think if we look at the gap here, I'm going to say this is going to be the battle for fifth.
Looks like it.
Kinsella's going to get them both. It's going to be the battle for fifth.
Yeah, because Kinsella's got it away. And there they go.
Stefan just way over-calculated on fuel there. Yeah,
Yep.
second and a half more of fuel.
And that's frustrating, too, from the driver's seat, because now you've really got to put the bit in the teeth and really focus in on what you're trying to do. Because now you got that bogey out there, and especially with this car, you know you have more fuel than him, so therefore you are heavier and slower. It's going to be an interesting battle there as it shapes out.
And everybody has now pit. That completed our pit cycle.
Yep. Everybody's gone through. Everybody
By the way,
still
Schlacker,
running.
last car on the lead lap in 6th place right now.
Yeah, we told you, Sage is picking them up and laying them down out there in the front. There you go, Stefan. Come on, get somebody. Get through there. Jumping up on the curves. Yeah. But yeah, there we go. There's Mardi Gras Mall getting through the infield. Jump up there, and it's a beautiful shot of that paint scheme. You can kind of see what I was talking about.
It's a great helmet, too. You weren't kidding. Taking a look at that. A lot of detail.
Yeah, that's some of the detail work in what these guys can do is absolutely impressive. Levels and levels and levels above what I could even accomplish.
Yeah, I just asked Dustin to paint one for me. Or Tyler, graphics, you know.
Yeah.
We got some painters in this league.
We got some,
and
you know what?
talented.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're out there and you're looking for, of course that's not going to be there. Sorry, said that to myself. Oh,
You're supposed to take your finger off the push to talk button.
Yeah, you're supposed to, but hey, we're getting ourselves tuned in here for the rest of the season. And if you are, speaking of graphics, if you are looking for a custom paint out there, the Graphics is a designer of liveries in both the real world and the sim racing world. Attention to detail, and myself, Jason Galvin, I think he's painted about half the cars in IndyCar. You'll see coming up next week, and you'll see the attention to detail that Graphics really puts on their work. Look them up on Facebook at Graphics, GRAAFIX, just to find the right spot out there.
Yeah, Tyler painted me a wicked super late model and late model that I've been running in some series, and I mean it is just pristine. I was really impressed with what he did with color combinations and excellent.
He's got an eye for it. It's just absolutely impressive.
Youth, right? Vibrance.
Yeah.
In the eye.
Yeah, us old guard.
Right.
Give me black, gray, and red.
although I tell you what, Wardlow, you talk about attention to detail, and you mentioned it with his car. It's a shame we don't get to see that far more.
Yeah.
I love Dustin, one of my best friends, and I've been to this house watching him. Oh no,
Climber, hanging on to it.
David. Oh, and Dean Mall. Dean Mall just. Every cone in Charlotte Motor Speedway is now in Dean Mall's lap.
Oh, well, I mean,
he went and got the ones in the parking lot.
Hey, if you're going to have a Mardi Gras party, you got to get all your buddies in there. Here he goes. There, we're going to see what we're talking about here. Coming through there. Yeah, just get them all.
Well, that did a lot of damage to his wing, too. Can you imagine if a cone did that much damage to a wing in real life? I guess it would, right?
Yeah, I mean, if someone, someone picks off a cone at Indy in turn one, I mean...
Takuma Sato tried that once on the last lap.
He did try it.
Didn't end well.
No, it did not.
He made up for it a few years later, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd say that worked. Yeah, he got the better end of that deal. All right, so there you see Mardi Gras Mall.
Oh, Dean Mall!
Oh, no!
Oh!
Oh!
He was pulling away from Schlocker, and he threw fifth away.
Back to the replay.
Oh, I better be careful here. He almost took Sage out. Boy, he just missed. He just missed. I didn't see anything.
Just like me when I walked by the salad spot at the all-you-can-eat buffet. just completely missed it. Here we go. You see Schlocker's view of this. He's going to come around this corner, and you come up to the uphill part, and he's like, hey, there's that guy. There's that spot I need. Oh, well, thank you. Just the slow camera pan. I love the camera work that we do here on GSRC. Because that's what, if anybody's got 3 monitors out there, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When you make that corner and you watch something that's fixed as a fixed point, and you watch it across all 3 screens, that's exactly what just happened to Steven there. Fire, this race can't be over fast enough for him. I think there's a bee's nest inside the machine, the cockpit of that Lotus 79. He is swatting it all over them. We go on board. I think we're on board with Eric Block right now.
Eric Block's got some good speed too.
He's getting there.
He can get around Clymer here. He's got maybe a chance to go get Paulson. Of course, Gaiman not too far ahead of Paulson, so any mistake by any of these guys will cost them spots.
Yeah. And there's no points, there's no prizes, just bring back the bragging rights and a virtual trophy. White flag is in the air for Sage Karam. Complete dominance. I just, the way that car has been, the way that it's been focused, it's going to be a very, very exciting season as the season unfolds there. There you see him working around turn 2, bringing it real low. Going to come through the bus stop there one final time, all clean. No sense in throwing it away when you got a 30-second lead out there. Sage Karam, a name that is not unfamiliar to people that follow the IndyCar series out there. And now he's a household name in the Lionheart Retro Series. Sage Karam wins the All-Star race at the Charlotte Rovol. Just dominant. That's the only way you can put that up.
It is an all-star race. And the all-star of the series between Sage and Richie Hearn. Nobody has been better in real life, and now getting a chance to do it on the sim side. Sage Karam showed why right there. As finally, George Sandman comes around in second. Our poor flagger, Yaz, it's a good thing you're not up there. Your arm would have fallen off.
It would have.
Ryan Otis in third. Still waiting on Kinsella. Andrew Kinsella's on the back straight. Holy cow.
Here he goes. He's coming through it right now. Coming through the final chicane. Kinsella crosses the line. I believe that's, Schlocker has crossed the line. Now it's time to make the donuts. Sage Karam getting out there, ripping it around. We're going to come back here after a quick break, do a full field rundown and some driver interviews and get you all ready for the rest of the season. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Charlotte Rovol, the conclusion of the All-Star race. And now from here on out, it's the regular season. It is time to as Sean, the wonderful Sean Ambrose would say, it's time to boogie, boys and girls. So, without further ado, full field rundown brought to you by the Sim Pit, an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Focus is to bring you news, reviews, information from all around the world, from sim racing hardware, software. Also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with instructional videos and how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. That is all one word. So, with that being said, here we go. Let's go full field rundown. There we go. Sage Karam, our dominant winner. With George Sandman in second, Ryan Otis rounding out the podium in third. It looks like we got 2 of the 3 podiums up there. Andrew Kinsella fourth, Stefan Schlocker in fifth, sixth Joshua Gabin, seventh to James Paulson, David Clymer in 8th, and 9th to Eric Block, Chad Dalton in 10th.
And in the second half of the field here in the 11th position is Mardi Gras, Dean Mall. James Grahula in 12th. I finally got to say it. James Grahula in 12th, Frank Beezer 13th. Chris Lanini came home in 14th. Then we get into Lanini starts, all the hard luck racers. Lanini had some issues. Justin Weaver with the spin out of second place. Richie Hearn, the connection problems. Justin Kirby, Dustin Wardlow, neither of them got to the end of lap before they had issues. And Sean Cole rounded out the field, who didn't get to the end of qualifying before he had an issue. So I guess Kirby and Wardlow can hang their heads high after that.
There you go. But you know what? Not having an issue. Plasma Tracks, and this is the post-race show presented by Plasma Tracks this year. Let you get that out. There you go. Victory Lane post-race show. You know, it's Jason. If you're struggling to find someone for that person that has a little bit of everything in their life, like Dustin probably, plasma-tracks.com. That's where you go to check these guys out. Motorsports Trophies at the Lionheart meetup in Iowa, they did the Cornhole Championship Trophy, and they also did the top 3 championship trophies last year for the IndyCar series. Just absolutely high quality work. I cannot explain this enough to you guys out there. Check it out, plasma-tracks.com. Promo code LRS 2019, all one word, 25% off your order. So, you know, someone that has probably the same quality as plasma-tracks.com, Sage Karam, our winner here in the All-Star race. That was a nice little transition there, wasn't that, Jason?
That was MAV TV quality, indeed.
All right, Sage, congratulations on the dominating victory. Let's take it right back to the start. You got a great run off of the initial start. Was that your plan all along?
No, not really. I mean, my plan was to qualify first, but that failed. You know, it's so tricky now with iRacing, with the whole changing of the weather, and the track just really changes temperature quite frequently and at big rates. And I took a chance in qualifying, and I waited like a minute and a half before I went out to see if hopefully by the end of qualifying the track would go down, and it actually did the opposite. So it seemed like your first or second flyer was going to be the money lap, and I just missed it. You know, that track was probably 20 degrees cooler in the beginning of qualifying than I've ever run in this car there. So I just wasn't used to it, and just made or didn't get everything out of the car. Otis put in a great lap. It was a brilliant lap, to be honest. And I got in a groove in the race, and just started clicking off fast laps, and I went faster than I did in the race and qualifying with a hotter track. So definitely just kind of kicking myself in the butt. Shout out butt kicker.
There you go.
No, I think I just missed it in qual. But on the start, I didn't really know that was going to happen. I kind of went into that chicane. I knew he would get on it right before the chicane, and he did. And it seemed like he maybe just clipped the inside curb there coming to the finish line and got a little loose. And I had a really good run. And, I knew I couldn't be a nose ahead of him before the finish line, but it didn't matter if I was on the inside or outside. So kind of over-undered and got to the inside. And I knew once I was on the inside and, pretty much front wheel to front wheel with him going into one, we were in good shape to win that battle. And then I think he just kind of missed the braking a little bit and fell back. But the car was just really hooked up for me all night. I didn't have any issues. Whenever you finish a Lotus 79 race and the wing is still intact, I think it's a good day.
Yeah, we were watching in the transfer race, and we were watching. It didn't take much to really upset the front wing of that machine. And I think even you, maybe a little bent up on the end. I mean, what was that? Was it the turtles? Was it the curbing? Was it what was causing that damage there?
Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the last chicanes. If you just nick it a little too much, it'd probably bend it. But from experience of driving this car around here, I've bent the wing up a little bit, and it didn't really seem like it had all that much of a effect on the actual handling of the car, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, the car was good. I just had to focus on just putting in quality laps. It's very easy in this car to make mistakes, and my main goal was to try and grab the lead as fast as I could and break the draft, because the draft is just so huge in this car. With this being a ground effects car, it makes so much drag, and if you can get within 2 seconds of the car in front, you're probably picking up a little bit of draft. And then if you're within a second, you're picking up probably, 5 to 10 more mile an hour down the straight. So I knew I had to break, a second lead, and thankfully, had the good start. And I pretty much had a second lead, I think, coming to the finish line after the first lap. So I just knew right then and there, I just had to keep clicking them off and, got out to a comfortable lead. But for some reason, I didn't tell myself to slow down. I probably should have drove a little bit more cautiously when I had, that big of a lead, but I'm a competitor and I just wanted to keep going faster.
Hey, that's the best way to do it. So you're full time in IndyCar this season, and you're full time in this series too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna. That's the plan, is to run both. Hope with if I have any real races that come up and this year, if there's something that conflicts, that's going to be obviously real racing would probably have to take the priority. So I as of right now, the plan is to run full season in the retro and full season in the Indy cars, and hopefully I can do them all. I really want to do it. They the Lionheart series put together a great package, as far as, prize money and cool prizes to win. And it definitely is really appealing, to people that want to come race in the series. I don't know another league out there that's doing stuff like that at that level. So, I'm going to be gunning for it.
Okay, sounds good. We'll look out for you as the season rolls on both sides of things. Once again, congratulations on your victory tonight, and we'll see you in 2 weeks down at Homestead.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to thank a couple people real quick. I want to thank you guys at Global SimRacing Channel just for being able to broadcast this so my parents and girlfriend and everybody, all my friends, can watch. It's really cool that you guys do that. It's really top notch. Lionheart League, great league. If anybody's out there wanting to get in a league, it's top notch stuff. Kiwanis Sim Sport, just hanging around with those guys and talking to them, they take me to the next level. Just everybody that's involved with the Lionheart League. There's so many to list. I don't have it all memorized, but butt kicker, sim experience, first medical equipment, 273. The list goes on. I don't know them all, but I'm sorry. But and then iRacing in general. The server's fantastic, and I love being a part of it every day, and can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, it's easy for us. We make it sound easy. I got a big list right here in front of me that's got all of them, and you nailed pretty much a good chunk of them there. So that's your bad, Sage. We'll see you down the road there, bud.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, Jason, you've got our second place man, George Sandman.
All right, George. I don't know how you're going to follow up Sage there, so I'll give you 10 seconds. What do you got?
I don't know. I think he needs to impound his car. I had the smell of rocket fuel. I think we need to check that thing out. No, he was just untouchable.
It's almost like Sounds like that Sage Karam guy's driven a real race car and done a real interview once or twice before, huh?
Yeah, it kind of seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I've heard of him before. George, talk about a nice debut for you in that HPP car. First off, beautiful looking race car out there. And to come out and win the transfer race the way that you did, and then kind of drive through some of the early incidents in the main event. Take me through the first couple laps there with all the action that was happening.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. It's real slippery after the warm-up lap. It gets really slippery on the track. So I just tried to keep all my laps nice and clean. Seemed to be able to do that, but I just wish I could have found a little bit more speed and gave Sage a little bit of a challenge.
Let's go back to the transfer race, too, there. What was the key for you that allowed you to be so comfortable and just kind of check out on it?
Yeah, once I got out in the front, it felt very comfortable. I could limit my pace. I wasn't pushing and just wanted to make sure I finished.
We wrap up the road course here on the All-Star race. We head to Homestead for the season opener with the points on the line there. We obviously know that you can get around a road course pretty good. How comfortable are you on the oval side of things with this L7?
Well, I've always tend to favor road courses, but I'm sure open to try some ovals, and I'll just give it my best.
All right, that's George Sandman. HPP car comes home in the second spot tonight. Great run for you, George. We'll see you down there at home.
Thanks for the great broadcast. Thanks, guys.
All right, enough caught up with Ryan Otis. Ryan, you started out great. You had those outstanding pole laps in qualifying, and then everything in turn one just kind of unfolded for you.
Oh my gosh, talk about all-time worst starts. I felt like I was lucky to keep it out of the wall. Sage got a great jump on me, and I just nicked the curb a little, and the car got a little loose. And I knew we were going to end up going into one side by side, and I got a little bit into the dust and broke just a little bit too late, and was dying to try to stay off the wall. And that was pretty much the end of the battle for the lead for me. I was just trying to not get caught in a wreck after that.
It's all right. I mean, we'll just blame it on the rust, because you were part-time most of last season. Getting back into the swing of things. We'll let you make a couple mistakes here and there. We're not going to, hold it over your head all season. I mean, maybe only half a season.
Yeah, like half the season is fine. That works.
How was it out there in this car? We were commenting about the, the turtles and how easy it is to damage the front wings. I mean, what was it like from your perspective?
Oh, it's tough. I guess I haven't done it a lot since they had the dynamic skies and how the track temperature changes so much now that even lap to lap, you have to approach just a few corners a little bit differently in terms of aggressiveness. And so it kind of makes the whole track a little bit of a moving target, which is definitely a fun challenge. And you just kind of have to keep up with it and try to keep a feel for the car to figure out what you can get away with. That was probably my biggest challenge. I finally felt like I started to get in a little bit of a groove, last 10 laps or so, and started to close a little bit on Sandman, but I just didn't have the speed early enough and didn't have enough time to catch him.
Gotcha. And so, I mean, now we're going from the oval side down to down to Homestead for the oval. I mean, how you feeling? I know you're pretty strong on the oval side. You looking for some redemption here in 2 weeks?
Boy, I hope so. I think the ovals are always, a different experience from the road course stuff. So I usually just try to survive in the ovals and see, just see how it works out from there. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun.
Sounds good. We're looking forward to having you this season and, being up here in the booth and calling the races and everything like that. It's going to be a fun season, and we'll talk to you a lot more probably as the season runs on there, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, sure thing. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Have a great night. And, all right, Jason, we got everybody out of the booth.
Are we wrapping it up?
I think we might be wrapping it up. I heard Mardi Gras down there, Mardi Gras Mall. I think they got a party going on over there that I think we need to go investigate.
It's right. It's right where all the cones are in the
Just follow the cones, and we'll get to where we need to go. All right. So with that being said, our final shout out here once again, our Butt Kicker for hanging out and sponsoring us. We've talked about him plenty of times. The instant immersion to any games. With the haptic immersion that's powerful, accurate. You just can't get enough of it. If you've had one and you've experienced it, you know exactly what it is. Check it out, thebuttkicker.com. Promo code Lion25 to get 25% off of your order. Our series founder, George Anzaldo, there for organizing all of us crazy cats, putting us all in one spot. And there you see all of our sponsors. This season, you're going to hear a lot more from the oval side, or from the IndyCar side and the retro side as the season goes on. Big shout out to the software and the hardware that we use for our broadcast that you can also see listed on your screen right now. Look at that. And to the team today, to Jason, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it out at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook, facebook.com/Global SimRacing Channel. I got to the end and it messed me up. A special thank you to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, who both provide music for our broadcasts.
Rookie!
Music can be found on the location listed at screen as well. Next race we talked about it, March 14th, the Homestead 200 at Homestead Speedway. We've also got other races for other series on screen. Check them out, mark them down. Make sure to tune in. Until next time, may your right foot stay planted and your connection stay stable. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, everybody.